Hello Gorsey Bank. Today I'm going to be reading some of the story Malamander by Thomas Taylor. I'm going to start by reading you the blurb. Who will uncover the secret of the Malamander? In the basement of the Grand Nautilus Hotel, a mysterious girl crashes into Herbie Lemon's room and cries, "Hide me!" In the window of the Erie book dispensary, a mechanical mermonkey sits and waits. And out beyond the pier something stirs. Could the legendary Malamander have returned? Okay, before I read chapter 1, there is a map of Erie-on-Sea where our story is set, so I shall show you that to begin with. Okay. Erie-on-Sea. You've probably been to Erie-on-Sea without ever knowing it. When you came, it would have been summer. There would have been ice cream and deck chairs and a seagull that pinched your chips. You probably poked about in the rock pools with your mum, while your dad found that funny shell, remember? And I bet that when you got in the car to drive home, you looked up at the words Cheery-on-Sea, written in light bulb letters over the pier, and got ready to forget all about your day at the seaside. It's that kind of place, in the summer. But you should try being here when the first winter storm blows in, when the letters C and H blow off the pier, as they always do in November. When the sea mist drifts up the streets like vast ghostly tentacles, and saltwater spray rattles the windows of the Grand Nautilus Hotel. Few people visit Erie-on-Sea then. Even the locals keep off the beach when the darkness falls and the wind howls around more rocks, and the wreck of the battleship Leviathan, where even now some swear they have seen the unctuous Malamander creep. But you probably don't believe in the Malamander. You maybe think there's no way a fishman can be real. And that's fine. Stick to your ice cream and deck chairs. This story probably isn't for you anyway. In fact, do yourself a favour and stop reading now. Close this book and lock it in an old tin box. Wrap the box in a heavy chain and throw it off the pier. Forget you ever heard of Erie-on-Sea. Go back to your normal life. Grow up, get married, start a family, and when your children can walk, take them for a day at the seaside too. In the summer, of course. Stroll on the beach and find a funny shell of your own. Reach down and pick it up. Only it's stuck to something. Stuck to an old tin box. The lock has been torn off and the chain is gone. Can the sea do that? You open the box and find that it's empty. Nothing but barnacles and seaweed and something else. Something like slime. You hear a sound behind you. A sound like footsteps coming closer, like slimy, flippery footsteps coming closer. You turn around. What do you see? Really? Well, maybe this story is for you after all. Chapter 2 is called The Grand Nautilus Hotel. My name's Herbert Lemon, by the way, but most people call me Herbie. I'm the lost and founder at the Grand Nautilus Hotel, as you can see from my cap. Someone once told me that most hotels don't have a lost and founder, but that can't be right. What do they do with all the lost stuff then? And how do the people who lost it get it back? I'm a bit young for such an important job, I suppose, but Lady Kraken herself, the owner of the hotel, gave it to me. Even Mr. Mollusk, the hotel manager, can't argue with that. He'd like to, of course. He hates anything in the hotel that doesn't make money. If he had his way, the Lost and Foundry would have been shut down as soon as he became manager, and my little cubbyhole in the reception lobby boarded up for good. And if that had happened, I'd never have met the girl. The girl I found scrambling through my window. The girl who said, "Hide me." Hide me. I look her up and down. Well, mostly up because she got herself stuck on the window latch, and the cellar windows are near the ceiling. If she's a burglar, she's not a very good one. Please. I get her unstuck, although that means nearly being squashed as she tumbles inside. It's snowing, so a whole lot of winter comes in through the window too. We get to our feet and now I'm face to face with her. a girl in a ratty pullover with a woolly bobble hat over a mass of curly hair. She looks like she's about to speak, but stops at the sound of raised voices up above. Raised voices that are getting closer. The girl opens her eyes wide with panic. "I'm here," I whisper and pull her over to a large travel trunk that's been in the lost and foundry, unclaimed for decades. Before she can say anything, I shove her inside and close the lid. The voices are right up at my cubbyhole now. The whining, wheedling sound of Mr. Mollusk trying to deal with someone difficult. I grab a few lost bags, brollies and bits, dump them on top of the trunk, and hope they look as if they've been there for years. Then the bell on my counter, the one people ring when they want my attention, starts ting, 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 tinging like crazy. I straighten my cap, run up to the steps to my cubbyhole, and turn on my "How may I help you" face, as if nothing strange has just happened at all. Mr. Mollusk is the first person I see, trying to smooth his hair over his bald patch. I'm sure it's a misunderstanding," he's spluttering to someone. "If you would just allow me to make inquiries." The someone he is talking to is unlike anyone I've ever seen before. It's a man in a long black sailor's coat that's sodden with water. He looms over the desk like a crooked monolith. His face is a dismal crag, his eyes hidden beneath the peak of his ruined captain's cap. With one stiff finger he is jabbing the button of my bell like he's stabbing it with a knife. He stops when I arrive and leans in even further, covering me in shadow. "Where?" he says in a voice that sounds like two slabs of wet granite being scraped together. "Girl, where?" I say, clearing my throat, putting on my posh voice Mr. Mollusk expects me to use with guests. "To whom may you be referring, sir?" The man's mouth, which is nothing more than a wet upside-down V in his dripping bone-yellow beard, opens with a hiss. I notice there is seaweed in that beard, and more tangled around his tarnished brass buttons. He smells like something bad is about to happen. "Where?" I gulp. "Well, I can't help it, can I? I'm just a lost property attendant. I'm not trained for this." "My dear sir," purrs the voice of Mr. Mollusk, "I'm sure we can sort this out. What exactly have you lost?" The man pulls himself back out of my cubbyhole and towers over Mr. Mollusk. He draws his right hand, which has been hidden till now, out of his coat. Mr. Mollusk shrinks back when he sees that where the man's hand should have been is a large iron boat hook, ending in a long gleaming spike. "Girl," the man says. Now, one thing I will say about old Mollusk is that he knows which battles to fight. In this case, since there's no way he can beat this great hulking intruder, he decides to join him instead. He turns on me. "Herbert Lemon, have you got a girl down there?" Now they're both looming in at me. I shake my head. My "How may I help you" face dissolves, so I try an innocent grin instead. "No," I manage in a squeaky voice. I hate it when my voice does that. "No girls are hiding down here, none at all." And that's when there's a soft thud down in the basement behind me. It sounds exactly like someone who is hiding in a travel trunk, trying to make themselves more comfortable. Oops. The bearded sailor opens his mouth in a moan of triumph. His dark eyes flash beneath his cap. He yanks open the door to my cubbyhole and shoves me against the wall as he pushes past. He squeezes down the steps to the cellar, filling the tunnel, his back crooked as he stoops beneath the low ceiling. I hurry after him. This isn't me being brave, by the way. This is me just not knowing what else to do. The sailor is standing in the middle of the room, filling the space. I can see him look at the patch of melted snow beneath the open cellar window. I see him turn his head to follow the wet footprints that lead straight to the travel trunk. The bags and brollies I dumped on it have fallen off. By now, there might as well be a big flashing sign over the trunk that says, "Yoo-hoo, she's in here." Mr. Mollusk, rushing down to join the party, sees all this too, and goes crimson with rage. "Herbert Lemon, why I ought to..." But what he ought to do I didn't find out, because of what the sailor with a spike for a hand does next. He raises his spike and brings it down with a sickening thud. diving it deep into the lid of the chest. He wrenches it out and then swings again and again. The lid of the trunk splits and sunders with each blow, splinters of wood raining down all around. The trunk itself begins to disintegrate. The man tears the rest of it open with the help of his one good hand to reveal nothing. Well, not quite nothing. There's a very surprised looking spider sitting amongst the wreckage and a woolly bobble hat. I watch the spider scurry away and wish I could join it. Now all there is to look at is the hat. It is very definitely the brightly coloured hat the girl was wearing, but of the girl herself there is no sign. With a slow, deliberate motion, Boathook Man skewers the hat on the tip of his spike. He turns and holds it out to me, his face like a thundercloud. Somehow I find the courage not to speak as I reach out and gently take the hat off him. Just some lost property, I say. It was, handed in this morning. I haven't had the chance to label it yet. That's all. There's a moment of silence. Then Boathook Man roars, a great, wordless bellow of fury. He starts ransacking my cellar, sweeping his massive arms from side to side. I fall back on the stair as bags, coats, hats, lost thingy-mo-doo-has of every kind, including some that must have lain undisturbed down here since almost forever, fly about as the man goes berserk, trying to find the girl. But he finds no one. She's gone. And that's the first 2 chapters of Malamander. I hope you've enjoyed. It's one of my favourites. And hopefully I can read some more for you and you can come back and listen soon.